Well, guys, here we go. Chapter 4 of our Twilight Saga series, and now we're heading on to the bad one. Yeah, we're finally on going to the bad one. Let's do it. 2011's Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn, Part 1. Alright, so now they finally get married, and when Jacob finds out that they want to spend their honeymoon she wants to spend her honeymoon as a human, he's horrified. And for his passion, could kill her. By accident, at least. But she does survive her honeymoon, but a new thing arrives when she's pregnant out of nowhere. And the child is growing at an alarming rate. And then this pregnancy sets the wolves against Bella and Edward, but Jacob vows to protect his friend. So, I did see this one in theaters when it came out. The very night it came out. Oh boy, I wish it didn't start with this one, but hey, it did. So better than this. All right, so going into it, I wasn't really excited for this one because it was Twilight back then, but I saw it, and the director of this was Bill Condon. And if you don't know who Bill Condon is, he did a good amount of movies. He's wrote and direct films like Gods and Monsters, Dreamgirls, Chicago, and actually, after all this, he actually directed this year's awesome live-action Beauty and the Beast. So I mean, he's got movies on his belt. You know, he's got the movies to go. Okay, this is what he can do. I think he's also directed The Fifth Estate. Yes, he did. And then he directed one that I didn't know about, and that's Mr. Holmes. So I don't know about that one. It's positive reviews. So I mean, yeah, he's got movies on his belt. Unfortunately, he did this one. This movie's bad, guys. I mean, I could see with the other three going, okay, even the second one. It's boring, but it's fine. But with this one, I was like, I'm not interested in this part. Like, it's. Alright. So, um, this honeymoon thing, it just pops up out of nowhere. They're like, oh, it's preparing for it already, and it's like, oh, okay, so we're starting out with, I guess, it kind of starts with, I think it was this one, to where he took his shirt off, freaked out, and like, oh, fuck that. And it was like, okay, yeah. So they're also preparing for the wedding, which is completely out of nowhere. And I looked, I was like, whoa, okay, we're already preparing. All right, great. Jacob is pissed in this movie, and I was like, damn, dude, you can't be that pissed about it. Oh, shit. But with this one, I was like, I don't know what to say. I mean, it was there. But this movie is boring. Now, I really mean it because, you know, all the CG effects and most of it, for the most part, there's not even barely an action scene. Not even one. So, I mean, it's just, it's there. When you get to the, I'm gonna try and do this. Let's start. The acting is there still. It's not bad. I mean, they're trying because the script's horrible, not really good. But it's the acting. It's not bad. I mean, it could have been better, but I was like, you know what? Whatever. I can give that a pass, I guess. The dialogue is bad. You shouldn't have expected that because it is from the book. The effects in this movie actually didn't look the greatest this time. I don't know why. Maybe because of higher budget. Maybe it's just they do it just to do it or something. I don't know. All I know is it wasn't the greatest. Let's see here. This feels like a soap opera. Now, I wouldn't say that for Twilight, but this is the only one that does that. It acts like that. It's just kind of disappointing because for Twilight movies, you expect it to be better. But there's not even barely excitingness in it. Oh, with the pregnancy part and all that. Yeah, I was very excited for that shit. Yeah, most definitely. Oh yeah, this movie's a mess, a real mess. Let's go ahead and talk about the movies in detail on this one. You get the wedding and he's pissed and everything, and after the wedding they go to their honeymoon. They break the bed and everything. I was like, woo, woo! Like you hear like it cracking the bed frame. It's like, what? Holy shit! And she's got bruises on herself and everything. And I was watching this. I was like, somebody tell me this really happened, right? Uh, it felt like he was the big rock and he was gonna smash her. I was like, okay, how is this possible? Like, how is she still alive after all that? Is this luck? I mean, we're not in the real world of the logic. I mean, this isn't anyways, but you get what I'm getting at. But it's crazy. And he says he swears not to make love again until she's a vampire. Yeah, that's definitely a smart idea because he's upset for hurting her, which fine, but he says he swears to not make love again until she becomes a vampire. I was like, that should have been the idea in the first place, but didn't go for it, so good job. So after the honeymoon, she realizes that she is pregnant with a half-mortal and half-immortal child. And the way that Edward hears about it, he freaks out. I was like, woo! And this is where the soap opera really kind of starts. I mean, guys, seriously, it started and I was like, in the theater I was watching, I was like, when this came out, I was like, oh boy, alright, here we go. Let's do it, guys. I was not really ready for this. But they're like, oh, the werewolves want to take the baby and kill it. And Jacob's like, no, you're not going to do that and all that. And he stands against them. I was like, all right, you know what? For what it is, Jacob he's kind of fleshing out just a little bit. It's not saying much because this movie, oh man, this is a mess. There's so much wrong with this movie. Like, so much wrong. For starters, you just watch it. They're at this one set. There's this one house, and you're watching it, and you go, okay, we got nothing going on. We got nothing going on. The editing in this movie is actually kind of bad. It really is almost like most times in some scenes you can't tell what's going on. I was upset, maybe because I couldn't understand shit, but it was like, hey, you know what? Whatever. It fucking happens, I guess. And it was there. So, but there's like the scenes of she starts drinking human blood to satisfy the baby, to help it keep it going, I guess. And you get like Edward holding her and talking about the baby and stuff. I was like, come on, guys, seriously. But there's a scene where, okay, I'll say this: the makeup of her, like dying almost and everything and all that stuff, that was pretty good. I will say it. That was pretty good. And that was one of the big things that helped the movie. That's not saying much because this movie is kind of a mess. But from that, I was like, you know what? For what it is, it's there. And you got the werewolves and I guess the vampires coming together, I guess, or something like that. Or Jacob trying to stay with them and everything. I was like, okay, guys, you're just really keeping going here. But hey, you know what? I was fine with it. But now we get the birthing scene, and watching it, you're going, you know, it could look cool. But Bella drops a cup of blood as she bends down to pick it up. She collapses. She nearly dies giving birth. To save her life, Edward injects Bella's heart with his venom to transform her into a vampire. But nothing seems to happen, and they think, she's dead. So distraught, Jacob attempts to kill the baby, but then stops and realizes he has imprinted on her. Wow. You know what that means? Jacob is a pedophile. I mean, with all the stuff they could have done, standing up for himself and everything, that was cool. But now he's in love with a baby. Yeah, if that's not, winner of the year, that could really say a lot, apparently. Now I'm feeling kind of creeped out now. I mean, why would they put this in the movie? Did she think, let's just do a lot of stuff here, How about make Jacob a pedophile? Good fuck, guys, as if we needed it enough. I mean, I still like Jacob. The stuff that he does and you ready to talk about, it's still fun. But I just feel like it was just there. And then Jacob's doing stuff to protect this baby and everything, and it was pretty cool. It really was. Like, it wasn't like they named the baby, I guess. And the baby's name, I guess, is gonna be Rensme. I was like, really? Rensme? Something like that. I was like, really, guys? Really? 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 Bella's fine, I guess, after the end and everything, and she just venom spreads to that body, and guess what? She turns into a vampire. This feels like a bad soap opera, and I'm sad that I say that, but it really is. I mean, if you can't tell, like, oh, this is the things they do wrong, this movie was boring. There's a couple cool moments in it, though, like Jacob standing up for the baby and everything, and some cool makeup, and a couple pretty cool scenes, even though they're boring, but they were cool. The music for this movie that they were advertising for it was actually really good. Pretty good, honestly. That's not saying much because of what the movie was doing. But let's talk about this one thing, actually. And it never happened in my theater, but I've talked about this for a while now, that I need to talk about this. There were some theaters, a week following the release, when the birthing scene was going on, people were having epileptic seizures. Like, a lot of flashing lights, just like strobe lights. And some were reported in Sacramento, California, and at Salt Lake City, Utah. And it was more widespread, and I guess they were caused by the scene or something, and people were suing or something, but there was one that I'm looking at, someone tweeted, I was like, what the fuck? What? It said our 11-year-old son literally threw up during the birthing scene. Number one, why is he there? Does he like this shit? Does an 11-year-old kid literally love just doing this shit, I guess? Yeah, it's apparently what it is. But I was laughing my ass off. I was like, what? An 11-year-old son doing this? And some that had seizures during the film were normal. They were perfectly healthy. And I understand this. Completely understand. I've heard about it. And it was just like, well, that was awkward. But I completely understand to what they're talking about. I guess, if I don't remember correctly, I guess some were trying to sue, I guess. And I was like, you know what? Fine. It's what it is. Totally understandable for the way the movie was filmed. That birthing scene, I was just like, whatever, it's there. Whatever. But, I mean, it's not like, I was like, I don't understand it. But I understand the point of, okay, this is what happened. But it never happened in my theater. I mean, it must have happened throughout theaters in the U.S., but, yeah, this movie's budget was $128 million, rounding it, to, $712 million in the box office. I mean, that's a lot of money. I'm serious, that's a lot of money. I mean, for a movie that's kind of boring, but it's for the Twilight fans, too. So, I mean, you can't expect much from the movie alone. I was like, whatever. I mean, it's let's just do it. It's overall. Get it done. Get it over with, Do the simple stuff. Overall, this movie's bad. Maybe that's just me. This is my least favorite Twilight movie. That says a lot, though. But, the acting's still the same. I mean, I'll keep saying that. I mean, it's still the same as you've seen from other ones. They're not bad. Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, Taylor Lautner, Ashley Greene, Kellen Lutz, Billy Burke, Anna Kendrick, all these other people. Sarah Clark. I mean, Maggie Grace, Michael Sheen. I mean, all these other people. I mean, they're not bad. They're just there. They're there to make the roles happen, but they're not bad. They're doing fine for what they are. But the dialogue's bad. I mean, it might be worse than this. Might be the worst, maybe script out of all of them. Maybe that's coming from me to say that though. But that says a lot for a movie. But I mean, there's some cool moments in it. It's mostly boring for a good amount of it, and I feel bad for saying that, but it's kind of true. But there's moments to where it's so inconsistent. I'm like, really, this really happened for sure. And you got the soap opera stuff that's boring for a good amount of it. A couple of cool moments in there though for what it is, and Jacob standing up for himself and everything. I mean, that was cool too. And her being the makeup was cool as well, and her transforming the vampire at the end. I actually thought I kind of dug it honestly, which we'll get to the next one. Kind of excited for that one actually. But I mean, all this stuff that's going on, and then health issues for in the theaters and everything. Totally understandable. I mean, just the way it from what it was doing, I was like, yeah, you. Mm-hmm. But overall, I was gonna give Twilight Saga Breaking Down Part 1 a D minus, but I wanted to step it up a bit and go like, you know what? There's a couple cool other moments in it that I actually didn't think of. So for what it is, I'm actually gonna give Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 a D. It's not rising up as high, but I raised it up though. I'm shocking I did myself. But it's still a bad movie. I feel bad because they could have done so much more better. Maybe from the way it looked or something. But I just didn't really care that much though. I mean, for this one. I tried my ass off and it didn't do much. So hey, it's what it is, guys. You know, you're not gonna make everything right, I guess. But that's the review for Twilight Saga Breaking Down Part 1. And the very last one we're going to get ready to talk about, which is Breaking Down Part 2 in the future. So get ready for that, guys. That's going to be actually an interesting one to talk about. So until next time, guys, peace out.